this is Scott Abels. I'm the president of PrepJet. And today I was going through some emails that Alden, Dr. Horia, and I have received to put together some of the videos that we have here. And one of the questions is, I can't seem to remember all of the details in the study materials. What are some, I hold these as a prop, I think I should use them. What are some good learning strategies? Well, that's a big question, but I think the answer is very simple. I can't remember some of the details. What kind of details? On one video recently, and for some time, I've been talking about, I make a list of drugs, comma, and the disorders that drug treats. I make lists of the brain, their function. I like lists. Now, I know Diane likes flashcards, and a lot of people do. We grew up with flashcards, and I think young people today probably still use flashcards. And considering my age, I guess that would include all of you being younger than me, but I like lists because they are like an accordion. It expands. Remember, I've always said, I know about a drug, I know about the disorder it treats. Well, what part of the brain does that disorder affect? Or better, if that area of the brain was damaged or is lacking something, what's the end result? What skill set, for instance, or what function could possibly be impaired? All this could be accomplished in lists. You know how people confuse one theorist with another? Why not just make your own little glossary? There's no point in us printing one up or writing one. You need to do it because your notes are going to be the best tool that will come from the PrepJet program. So, in a nutshell, given the fact that it seems like there's a lot of content here, right? There's a lot of material. There's 5 ways I could ask you the same question about Vygotsky. So maybe you just should write 2 to 3 sentences in your own words to remember key elements about who is Vygotsky, what is he known for, blah, blah, blah. You can do that. Your notes are very important, but they cannot be paragraph after paragraph. Do not try to replicate what Diana's done. Learn from what Diana's written, and then in your own words, make lists or make your flashcards if you prefer. Another thing I like about lists is, it's interesting how if you read, for instance, psychopathology, physio, and lifespan, you're going to see a lot of correlation there. Same thing with clinical as well as psychopathology. Understanding the DSM, the treatment of disorders. What is the treatment of this disorder? If Diane mentions it, then you need to know it. And if she mentions it in her words, take that phrase, that paragraph, and turn it into bullet points. And on one notepad, you have all your disorders and the drugs to treat them. And if there's a brain area that is somehow related, list the brain area too. Taking good notes isn't as easy as a lot of people think, but you can do this. You can do this very easily. I think that if people would slow down and take the kind of notes so that they can review those, maybe you had a busy day. I don't necessarily want to lift up my laptop and study tonight. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend 20 minutes and I'm just going to go over my disorder list. Or I'm going to go through the theories of motivation in my own words, or the theories of leadership, employee issues, formative, summative evaluation, whatever it is, it's in org psych, but I know org psych is challenging for me. I might have a lot of notes on org psych. Whereas clinical, I thought I knew it, but boy, there's a lot in the content I was never exposed to. So maybe I need to make notes and define what is strategic family therapy. Or maybe I need to break down more about identity development models in my own words, brief, but to the point to where it really rings that Pavlovian bell in my head. Your notes could be a very powerful tool. And I think that using brief notes will simplify trying to memorize. Wrong word, bad, don't memorize. It's about learning. And you know what? You can't learn when you're tired. So the minute you start to get, I worked all day, I just fed the kids, I'm going to spend 45 minutes and then I'm going to watch Alex Trebek on Jeopardy. You've got to do something after work besides family, but maybe it's also to relax. But on your days off, you won't be so pushed for time, maybe. And if you can block some time for yourself and maybe say, okay, today from 3 to 6, I'm just going to study in 45-minute blocks. And during that time, I'm going to read, but I'm going to stop a lot. And I'm going to just make some notes. For every paragraph of Diane's, I'm going to make 2 bullet points, maybe 3, in my own words. Believe me, there's other things we can talk about, but your study materials are as simplified as I know they can be, because we wrote all the material that was used for decades by the 2 biggest brands in this country. And I ran them. And we knew, and I've been hearing it from our clients, don't take it from me, read the posts in our Facebook group. People complain it's too dense, too much material, so they come to us. Those summaries are as brief as they can be, but sometimes they have to go into a lot of detail. So you need to synthesize Diane words into your own words that are memorable. And believe me, if you do that, you will simplify and retain lots of information when you study in small doses. Think of it like this. Remember when you get like bronchitis or something and they give you a Z-Pack? Well, you don't just take all the pills. They're taken over several days. You cannot do everything in one sitting or in one dose. So maybe this week is clinical week. Next week, psychopathology week. And so help me God, during clinical week, I'm going to make sure I've read as much or all of the clinical summaries, and I will synthesize only those things that are new to me or are different than the way I thought they were. And that is what my notes will look like. Now, if you have any questions and need some extra help, just write us at support@prepjet.net, and thank you very much.